Hey guys, here we are today to make a natural farming chicken coop. Natural farming chickens is really the jewel in Korean natural farming. My teacher, Master Cho, loves chickens. He started there, and it's a special thing. So there's a lot of thought that goes into chickens and how to take care of them from the moment they hatch all the way through their whole life. We're not going to get into all of that today, but today we will cover how to set up your coop and lay out your scene in the chicken coop. All right, first thing is your building is created. With a natural farming chicken coop, you build the building. Each individual area should be about 12 feet by 26 feet. And you can house in there about 130 layer birds. So anywhere between there and about 50 meters squared, you can do 130 birds. So next is your roof. The roof is about 3.6 meters high and is set up like the same way we do with a piggery roof, which is with a north and south facing roof that has a ridge vent. So that means one is higher than the other and creates a vent in between here, which when there's cool air being sucked in at the bottom creates a convection current, and the hot sun hitting the roof heats the air up above, which causes it to go out and draw in cool air down below. So even in the winter, when you got your whole place closed up, you can create some small vents down below and cause a nice airflow if you need it in the heat of the day. All right, another thing that's important about our roof is the idea of 7 shade, 3 light. So say you have 10 panels here, then 7 of them are going to be like solid tin and 3 of them would be clear. So you can see here we have our shade and our light, and in 10 panels we'd have 7 of the shade and 3 would be clear, allowing sun to come through. This is an emulation of a forest canopy. The filtered light allows your microbes to grow and whatnot. So your higher side of your roof is your north facing side. So the higher one faces north, the lower one faces south and catches the majority of your sun. This is for that convection current. So get your roof set up. Chicken's roof is about 3.6 meters tall. A piggery, I think, is 3.7 meters, and if you were doing cows, it'd be 3.8. Random information. Once you have your building set, you got your walls, whether they're mesh or you have it set up so you can close them in the winter. Your building set, your roof's on, we start looking at the floor. For chicken coop preparation, we do IMO 4 and charcoal. IMO 4 is about 330 pounds per quarter acre, which you can multiply down. And then charcoal we use at a rate of about a kilogram per 40 square feet. So for like a 10 by 10, that would be about 2.5 kilograms or 5.5 pounds of charcoal. So charcoal goes down, biochar, and then on top of that or with that is your IMO 4. This is just an inoculation of your soil. All right, now that can be, and you can put that interspersed with the next layer that is straw if you want. And then that can be woken up or activated with LAB 1 to 1000 and FPJ 1 to 500. And so you could spray that in here just to activate it. Next is a layer of straw. Straw is for brooders or laying birds. You'd put about 2 inches depth of straw. Master Cho recommends that the straw is cut down to about 2 inches long. Some people don't do that and it still works. It is a recommendation that you don't have long pieces of straw, but that you have cut them short. If you can't do that, see how it goes for you. But it is recommended. So for brooder birds, it's 2 inches depth of straw. For broilers or meat birds, it's 1 inch depth. They're in there a shorter amount of time. All right, so sprinkle your straw down. All right, our floor is prepped. Next thing to do is set up the place for your birds. Key component is your roost. The roost has to do with bird psychiatry, almost. It's important for the pecking order of your hens to be able to be established in your roost as well as in the general coop. So this roost is super specific. The height progresses to a highest point at the back, and then even each bar is curved with a highest point in the middle, so that your chief of the nest, as far as hens, can go and find that highest point, and everybody knows who the boss is, and then you have less fighting or squabbling over figuring out that pecking order. So roost goes in. For if you're doing a 12 by 26 or 130 bird setup, then this width for your roost would be about 10 feet 10 inches or 330 centimeters, and the height from the ground to the first one would be about 40 centimeters, and from the ground to the last one would be about 65 centimeters, or 16 inches and 26 inches. And then these lengthwise, I think, are about, oh yeah, I told you that. And then in between each rung, you'd have about 34 centimeters. All right. Oh, another thing is the bars. A bird's foot is about 6 centimeters to grab onto. And so you want to make these bars at about 5 centimeters wide and only about 3 centimeters high, so that the bird can grab onto it. And you want to round those edges on the top so they don't hurt their feet. That goes right in there. We got our roost set up. From the roost, you have your layout. You're gonna want a brooder box, a place for laying if you have laying birds over here. I'll put this jar in to represent that. So you got your brooder box. And then out of that you have then your feeding boxes coming off. Now, in natural farming, it's important for flow that they have access to water and back and the brooder box. So we don't set these up like a wall where they're constantly having to walk around to get back and forth. We set this up from the points of interest where there's an easy flow through the coop. Our water would go at the opposite end from our roost. For 130 birds, you want about 8 of these feeders. So each feeder box will handle so many birds. Too many feeder boxes and you'll run into problems, and too few and you'll run into other problems with birds not getting access to feed. So that is your basic setup and layout for a natural farming chicken coop. And like I said, there's a ton more to get into with natural farming and chickens. The first few days of their life are vital for how you feed them. We feed them on straight raw brown rice as much as they can eat for the first 3 days, and yeah, it's cool stuff. So I'll get into that soon. Thanks for watching how to make a basic natural farming chicken coop, and you shouldn't ever have to clean out chicken poop from this because of the living floor. If the straw starts to kind of go away or get broken down, you definitely want to add more straw as you need it. Especially with birds that have been in there a long time, you may need fresh straw periodically. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll have plenty more videos coming out soon. Talk to you later. This is the water system. The holes are angled away from them slightly. They come and drink. There's a little bucket of water that keeps that water nice and topped off. Fed by a hose and regulated by a little air foot valve. Genius. She spreads it all over so that they get away from the door.
They're not fighting in there. Feedback.
Can I finish the eggs?
I think so. Yeah. We'll see. Whether he should take this egg so not broken.
Now we can bring in the wheelbarrow because they're all distracted. Otherwise you run over chicken.